Do you ever catch yourself in sabotage mode and then wonder what the heck is wrong with you that you keep doing it? Well, by the end of this video, my hope is that you'll have a more compassionate view of what sabotage really is and how you can use it for you instead of letting it take you down. Hi, I'm Snakard, and on this channel, I help entrepreneurs and transformational leaders like you to own your power and set yourself free from any blocks or barriers to your success so that you can make the major impact that you're here to make while loving life every step of the way and without ever having to give up what matters most to you. I often have clients say to me, "Ugh, if I could just get out of my own way and stop sabotaging myself." Yes, if only. I've been there myself many times, believe me. Let's start with first just reframing what self-sabotage really is. Sabotage is really you, or at least some part of you, trying to save you from yourself. That's right, it's you trying to save you from yourself. So instead of calling it self-sabotage, we could actually look at it as self-preservation. Now, sometimes sabotage comes up because perhaps your inner being is recognizing that your actions or your ways of being are not aligned with who you really are. More often than not, however, which is what we're going to focus on in this video, it tends to come down to your identity. Your identity is feeling threatened in some way, and it's fighting like hell to survive. I talked about survival in a recent video titled How to Move Through the Fear. You can find a link to it in the description below, but I'm going to give you a super quick recap here. The gist of it is, as humans, our number one job, our number one goal in life is to survive. Of course, we want more than just survival. We don't want to just survive, we want to thrive. But at a base level, our number one job is survive. And to survive through human evolution, we had to belong. You had to be part of the clan. You had to not get kicked out of the cave, if you think back to caveman days. But quite honestly, this still translates directly into modern times and modern day. Because when you're a young child, you can't fend for yourself either out in the great big world. You need to have mom or dad love you and support you and accept you and take care of you and not kick you out of your modern day cave of your home or wherever it was you lived. So in order to win them over and not get kicked out of the cave so that you could continue to survive, you started to be certain ways that you thought would be pleasing to them. Perhaps you were the smart one, or the cute one, or the strong one, or the caring one. And when it seemed to work, when it seemed that you got a favorable response from mom or dad or whomever your caregiver was growing up, when you got some sort of favorable response, it seemed like it worked. And so whether you were conscious to it or not, some part of you was like, yes, okay, I figured it out. This is what it takes. It became evidence for you. And since we love to be right, and in this case, your survival was literally on the line, you collected a lot of evidence for how being this way is what was going to work. So as you continued to be the smart one, to get good grades, to be cute, to be caring, to be kind, to be strong, whatever it was, as you continued to play out these behaviors and you continued to get more evidence for how effective it was, over time this became your identity, who you essentially think that you are, and very likely who others think that you are too. People may even describe you with these words like, oh, you're so strong, or you're so kind, you're so generous to other people. Now, these are not bad ways to be. I want to be really clear here. These can be great qualities to have. It can be amazing to be kind and caring and giving and generous and strong and whatever else it might be that you've taken on. So it's not that these are bad qualities or that anything about it is inherently bad. The challenge or the difficulty comes in when, as part of your identity, it becomes set. It becomes who you have to be. So instead of you having a quality of kindness or caring or generosity, you have to be kind and caring and generous. So just as an example, if you were raised to be giving and generous, to give freely and believe that it's better to give than receive, then it's good to be giving and it's bad to be receiving, right? On some level, that's how that comes across, at least to your subconscious mind, or when this was formed, to your childlike mind. So to save you from yourself, whether knowingly or unknowingly, you may be blocking out receiving because you don't want to be one of those bad people who only receives and doesn't give. Or even if you are receiving, maybe your business or your career is going very well and you are receiving, but you may find that you create all kinds of ways to have to give and give and give. And I'm not just talking about charitable, generous giving in those ways. There may actually be ways it's playing out that you're having to give so that you're not able to keep or to hang on to what you have. So here are some of the ways this may play out. You may find one, that you're just not somehow able to get past a certain threshold to even receive, to earn a certain amount. Or again, maybe you are making a lot, but you're constantly having it go back out. Maybe your expenses run high. Maybe you think you're managing things and everything's good and you get an unexpected tax bill saying, hey, we audited your taxes and we found out there was a mistake and you actually owe us tens of thousands of dollars back. Things like that come up unexpectedly. Maybe it could be something like you get into an accident, a car accident. And again, I'm not trying to imply that you would intentionally cause an accident, but I just believe that there are no accidents in life. And so anyway, you may get into a car accident and now you need a new car. You have no choice but to get a new car, right? And so now again, more money needing to go out. All of these things, all of these possibilities of how this may play out are ultimately driven by some inner conflict, a conflict between who you think you are, essentially your identity, and your goals, or what you think you want. So consciously, you're thinking you want one thing, while subconsciously, there's a conflict saying, no, don't, stop, danger, don't do it, don't do it. And alarms are going off, sounding along the way, saying, stop, stop. Because just continuing on the example we gave, we know that good people are giving, and you are a good person, and you're a giver. So you're going to find all kinds of ways to either not receive in the first place or to have to give and give and give. Again, self-sabotage is really self-preservation, you trying to save you from yourself. It's simply responding to those alarms and those warning flares that are going off, saying, danger, danger, trying to help you so that you don't fall into a trap. So the opportunity here is to see things for what they really are and to respond from who you really are, not who you think you need to be. If you can start to see your identity not as the ultimate truth of who you are, but merely who you became to survive, to get by, to meet certain needs at a certain time of your life. And it may have made perfect sense at the time when you were 5 or 8 or 12 years old. It was perfectly fitting. Don't be hard on yourself for that either, because it made perfect sense then and it served you well at the time. But it may not serve you anymore. So now take a look. If having to be that, whatever those qualities are that you've taken on in your identity, being strong or caring or smart or hardworking or whatever it may be, if those qualities are not serving you anymore, you can let it go. You can take off essentially the coat of armor and be who you really are. Now, here's the thing again, it's not to say that those qualities are bad things. You can still have the qualities, but the big distinction is you can choose it. You can choose to have the qualities instead of the qualities having you by the throat at that, so that you have to be that no matter what. And so when you get conscious to having those moments, those times when you're sabotaging yourself, when you go, I am totally sabotaging myself right now, use it. Use it for you. Use it as an opportunity to stop and pause and say, oh, something is going on here. I must be feeling threatened, or some part of me is. So you can ask yourself, what is the threat here? What might I be protecting myself from? And then just listen. Your inner voice, your inner being already knows. And believe me, it has been dying to break out, to break free, and to shine through. I often think of this, I have this visual when I think about this conflict between identity and inner being, that when the identity is running the show, I almost visualize it like your inner being is like bound and gagged somewhere inside of you. Believe me, it is dying to be set free, and you have the power to do that. So now that you're aware of having this coat of armor and sometimes pretending to be something you're not, it may be starting to make a little more sense why you sometimes feel like an imposter or a fraud. But there's more to it than that. Click the video on your screen or linked in the description below to find out the real, perhaps shocking reason why you sometimes feel like an imposter and what you can do to minimize it. And be sure to subscribe. Keep coming back for new videos every week. See you in the next one.